But this is spring cleaning for the cells. It is only evoked when we are fasted.
Because fasting brings healing speedily.
But in fasting, it's self-control. It's deeper thinking about the habits and all the other things that we're going to talk about.
Sometimes you just need to take a bit of time out to refresh, recoup. The best way that I do this with my family is through a 1-week liquid fast. So I'll be taking you through the journey of this 1-week liquid fast, how it's making me feel throughout the day, the type of liquids I'm actually taking throughout the day, the value that it's bringing me. But it'll also not just be from a health perspective in terms of my physical body health. It'll also be in relation to my spiritual health. So daily I'll be sharing a verse that I'm reading and what is that doing for my spiritual health and upliftment. I'll also be sharing my energy levels, my mindset, my thinking capacity, and my mentality throughout the day and what it is I'm achieving throughout this entire period. So I look forward to sharing this journey with you. And remember, my starters, it starts with you. I love you and I appreciate you.
And it's doable. To tell everybody to do a 3-day fast is kind of tough, or a 5-day fast. But people have done this. Some of my patients have done 7-day fasts.
The thing to note about this liquid fast is that it comes to mind solely in terms of me being sluggish, being moody. Even though I'm exercising, I feel like my body is not performing optimally or at its peak, and thus I need to bring in an intervention. And this fast seems to be that intervention. I've done liquid fast before. The longest I've gone is 7 days, which may not seem impressive to a number of people, but it actually is impressive given that I used to do just solely 3 days and they were tough. 3 days were tough. So to go now and handle 7 days, it shows an improvement and it has built up a bit of capacity in how to handle these fasts at the end of the day.
So now you choose which fasting program you want to be on.
Because if you do something to get healthier, but then you stop doing it and you get right back to being unhealthy where you started, then what was the point of changing anything at all?
It all goes back to working on yourself. Once you take care of self, that's when you can be able to take care of others. Remember when you enter a plane and they do that induction or orientation, those safety protocols, they'll tell you that should an emergency happen, put on your mask first before even helping your kids. So empower yourself, strengthen yourself, work on yourself, and then other things will follow. People will be better off. The other reason is my skin. My skin is not looking at its best. And to the core, I know that the more liquids that come in and flush out the toxins in the body and clean up the system, the body will start to breathe, the skin will start to breathe, and thus there will be a positive impact that you will start to see as an individual. So the skin is something I'm looking forward to. My eyes as well. Because of the busyness of the past few weeks, my eyes have also hit this cloudiness and I'm always tired and sluggish and sleepy, and my screen time has increased. Therefore, there's a strain on the eyes and I feel the impact of that as well. Then my emotional health, this being moody that I speak of, and not being able to pay attention fully to what people are saying to me and around me, and not being able to concentrate to the best of my ability. All of those are working as a deterrent, as a disadvantage rather than as an advantage. And so I'm hoping that this fast is going to do what it needs to do in terms of my eyes, my sleep pattern as well. I require an improved sleep, and I'm hoping it will improve my sleep as well. And of course, my digestive system, for it to go back to its peak, it needs a break. Like anything in life, if you just eat, when does the digestive system get a break? we don't excrete as much as we take out. So the fat also piles up, the stomach fat piles up. In as much as we exercise, the best way to kill some of this is through fasting, through elimination of certain behaviors. And fasting is one of them.
We know that it improves mental clarity because insulin levels are low.
So this is day 2 of my 7-day fast, liquid fast. So far, only been drinking water strictly. In my previous fasts, I would supplement with some cranberry juice, which I'm going to do probably today or in day 3. I just wanted the water to flush everything out. So currently, I'd say my mental acuity is not at 100% yet. The body feels slightly drained. That's probably because of the heavy workload that has come at this time that I've selected to do the liquid fast. But ultimately, I also feel my body cleansing itself. I also feel my body getting better, being enriched. But at this stage, I can say that it's just the cleansing phase of this specific fast. The verse that I'd like to share for today, particularly because I'm at a place where big things are coming, I'd say Proverbs 16 verse 9, one of my favorite verses of all time. In his heart a man plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps. So now this is day 4 of the fast. Let me first share the verse for today. It's Ecclesiastes 3. You'd have to read the entire verse or the entire chapter, which is the accumulation of verses. They all speak to a time for everything. There's a time for good, a time for bad, a time for living and a time for dying, a time for healing and a time for being sick. So everything happens within its time and we need to accept it. But there's also a time for you to make your choices in life so that things go according to your plan, or at least as close to the plan that you have for yourself and others. Those whose lives you have touched, those whose lives you have impacted or influenced in one way, shape or form. So given that it's day 4, this is now of a complete liquid fast, as I've indicated. My mental acuity, strength, capacity has been stretched. The type of the memory that I have, it has improved. My energy levels are high. I mean, right now it's, what time was it when I started this video? It was just about 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Meaning I'm close to finishing day 4 and stepping into the 5th day of this liquid fast. And so far so good, man. I don't want to lie. So far so good. I can tell you, based on what I've learned when it comes to fasting, what happens in the body from day in, day out, how ketones are formed in the body, how autophagy actually happens to actually build up the brain so that the mental fog is removed, how the energy reserves happen because the fat in your body is what's used by your body. So they basically convert the lipids. This is now taking you back to biology of high school. The conversion of lipids into the glucose that your body will actually utilize. So the type of energy accumulated there is to your benefit because it's the body using the body. That's why I'm not going to the toilet as much in terms of the number of flushings that happen throughout the body. I'm flushing the liquids out, the toxins out. Even the excess fat that has been converted but not used is being flushed out in liquid form. I'm not going through the excretory system of the digestive tract. I'm rather using the urinary tract to excrete whatever's in my body. And thus, the body is renewing itself. I've already seen a glow in my skin as well, which is quite an advantage, which I love, because my skin was getting a bit ashy. Why? Because I'm putting things in the body. I'm not giving the body a time to rest. I'm not giving the body an opportunity to actually clean itself. And that's what the fast is doing now. So I hope you're on this journey with me as I'm sharing these benefits that I'm sharing right now. We're going to step into day 5 and see the difference there. I didn't make a video for day 3. Day 3 was rather emotionally draining because of something personal that was happening, and that is why I didn't capture anything. It wasn't going to be a true reflection of what the fast itself can do, but I do believe my capacity to handle myself via an emotional intelligence point of view was built into this fast. So everything that happened was built into this fast so that I could be able to handle it, right? So I love you, I appreciate you, and of course let me catch you on the next day, which is day 5. We're going to end probably in day 7 or day 8. I'll see how I'm feeling by the end of day 7, because as I've mentioned and alluded to before, I've only done as long as 7 days in terms of a fast. So if I go to day 8 and complete it, then it will be a personal record, and possibly it will be a shift in how the fast actually treats me as well after 7 complete days and stepping into an 8th day and completing that as well. So it's day 6 of the liquid fast, and the verse that I want to give you today is Corinthians 13, 1 Corinthians 13. It's basically an embodiment of what love is or is supposed to be. Because unfortunately, we as human beings do not have the capacity or ability to love unconditionally. We can try, we can build it up, because perfection does not exist. Loving unconditionally is also a tough thing to do. Whether it's us towards our children, us towards our spouses, our parents towards us, and vice versa, or a love of the human race in general, it's very difficult to love unconditionally. But we must strive to love as best as we can. It says love is patient, love is kind, and it says all the bad qualities that love is not. And it emphasizes that out of all the good qualities and the good things that exist, love surpasses them all. So that's the verse I give you today. Now, it being day 6 of this liquid fast, it's a lot tougher than other days, but at the same time, there are bursts of energy that just come out of nowhere. All I'm having is water, water, water. So whenever there's a bout of feeling a bit hungry, I think by this time I don't even know what the definition of hunger is, because I drink water constantly, and by the end of the day I've finished probably 2 to 2.5 liters of water. But the other thing that's strange or funny is that it shouldn't be strange or funny, because to my body, that's the amount of water I'm used to anyway on a daily basis, particularly during the week when I'm in the workplace. So now that I'm doing it and it's purely water, my consumption even goes at a rate slower than if I wasn't doing this fast. So it's really beneficial to me to be embarking on this journey where I'm cleaning my system and so on. Let me highlight at this point how I've benefited from this fast. I've benefited from this fast from a mental capacity. I mentioned it even yesterday. There's mental clarity. My mental ability and acuity has gone up. I'm able to think at a level higher than I would have last week, for example. Then spiritual upliftment. I'm not one who reads the Bible on a daily, not even a weekly, and sometimes I can go months without reading the Bible. But during this fast, I'm inclined to zero down and narrow it in and actually try to see what it is I can get in terms of spiritual upliftment from the Bible. And it has helped me in so many ways this week, and I couldn't have chosen any other better week for me to pursue and go through this fast. It brought about a level of unity within my household, even though we didn't have division, but it brought us closer because I'm doing this fast with my spouse. And thus, it brings us closer to a unified vision that we are having for ourselves individually, to uplift ourselves spiritually, but also for the family unit to be in a much better place. And of course, because of the amount of energy you get during this fast, it means that you get to utilize that energy on positive things that benefit you. So if you are working like I am, then it means that you have that ability to put in more hours than you are used to sleep better. That's another benefit of this entire fast. I sleep much better. I'm in touch and in tune with my thoughts. My body knows when it's tired and when it's not at this particular point in time. And to be honest, it doesn't get tired much during this week. And I'm hoping that it will continue. It will continue. I'm able to think more thoroughly and to a more minute level. In other words, I'm able to think things through more meticulously before I make decisions. I'm comprehensive in my thought process, and that is a benefit also that I have seen in this particular fast. And of course, then there's the physical appearance. I'm much slimmer. I've trimmed down a bit. The features, particularly my facial features, are more defined. My bodily structure and features are also more defined. So it is helping me in spearheading the element that even exercise. I've been running, I've been exercising, but in terms of what this fast has done on a quicker note, in terms of flushing down the negative things that are in my body and are not fully benefiting my body, it has expedited that process. And from a health perspective, I am much better. I am much better. So in terms of caveats or things to consider, or possibly challenges that I faced when I was busy with this fasting. Firstly, I have been exercising rigorously prior to undergoing this 7-day fast. That meant that there was tension in my muscles when I started the fasting, and by the 5th and 6th day, there was a bit of pain in my muscles. I don't quite know the scientific background behind that feeling or behind that consequence or repercussion, but it was one of the things that I experienced. And on the 6th day, I had been sleeping fine, day 1 up until 4, 5, but on the 6th day, there was like sleep apnea and sleeping in a way where there was a bit of restlessness, especially after I woke up to go to the bathroom. Then I had a challenge now actually going to the toilet. Going back to sleep, and thus my mind was shooting up idea after idea. My nervous system was active, neurons were just firing left, right, and center. And that's not something I would consider a good thing when the mind is supposed to be totally relaxed. So yes, fasting gives you that mental capacity to think sharply, to think fast, to think instinctively, and to have solutions to problems that you may not have had under normal circumstances. But then on the flip side, when you now have to relax and rest, then there is that bit of a disadvantage. And then the third thing that I didn't quite like was the mood swings that came around, particularly day 6, where I was seclusive. We had an event at my daughter's school, and I didn't want to hang out with all the parents. I felt the environment is not quite for me in that moment. And that is a bit of a disadvantage because from a social perspective, I'm quite a social guy. I like liaising with people, networking with people, speaking and laughing with people, and just having tough, frank conversations and fun-filled conversations that are about nothingness and just having a joke. So that was a bit of a disadvantage, and I was agitated by small things as well that involved the kids. I just wanted things to be done and to be done right. So that is also a bit of a disadvantage. And then the other challenge was that my wife and my daughters had dental appointments, and thus with the replacing of the filling, she had to take medication, and that automatically meant that by day 6 we had to end the fast because she can't take medication on an empty stomach to deal with the inflammation that came with that dental procedure. So we didn't even quite get to day number 7. We had to have such a light meal. Firstly, it was 𝐌𝐮𝐬𝐜. It's like soft porridge, but that's more so in liquid form. And then we had a chicken salad, like a very small chicken salad, small portion. The advantage is that already our bodies are used to having nothing in the system during this period. So that portion of the salad, as small as it was, it filled us up completely. So those are the type of things that you need to consider. And then in terms of the verse, the closing verse, because now the fasting is done, I hope you undergo this experience. The caveat that I want to add is that if you are taking medication or suffer from some condition, then it's advisable for you to get some doctoral advice or advice from your general practitioner about how to go about a fast. Don't just go in there based on internet knowledge or anecdotal experiences that people have shared. Go in there with expert advice, because it is your life after all. So a closing verse would be Philippians 4 verse 6. Is it Philippians 4 verse 6? Do not be anxious about everything, but in everything pray. That essentially sums up that verse. Do not be worried. Do not be anxious. Face life on your own terms, on your own rules, and hope that everything works out, because through the faith, through that prayer, you're messaging to the Most High and the power source, then solutions will come and you'll do better. So I wish you all the best on your life's journey, and I hope you enjoyed me sharing my experience. Right now, it's Sunday. It is day 7. And my wife has prepared a nice lunch. But the change is that we need to go back gradually, meaning in that nice lunch, there will be small portions of that 7-color dish. Cheers, guys. It starts with you.